Hi, I'm State Senator John Kissel, serving the great people in the towns of Enfield, Somers, Suffield, Windsor, Windsor Locks, East Granby, and Granby. I wanted to take a few minutes just to chat about my initial reactions to Governor Malloy's budget address this week. First of all, I want to give him credit for doing some things that have needed to be done for a long time. First of all, he's committed to not borrow for operating expenses in our state budget. That has been done in the past and has gotten us into the deep hole that we're in right now, so I want to give him credit for that. The other thing is he's committed to making this year's payment into our state pension funds the appropriate payment in this two-year budget, so I want to give him credit for that as well. That being said, there's an awful lot of concern in this budget and his proposals. First of all, he says that it's level funded. I don't see that. I see this budget going up 2.4% in the first year and 2.4% in the next year. That's a cumulative nearly 5% increase over the next 2 years, where everything else is stagnant or going in the other direction. If we're going to downsize government, I mean that doesn't mean a reduction in the increase. What I believe that means is a real reduction in state spending. That means next year's budget should be less than this year's budget. So that's something I have a strong disagreement with Governor Malloy regarding. When it comes to some of his spending cuts or tax increases, let's look at the tax increases. He wants to take away the $500 property tax credit. That's something that all the folks in my district depend upon to a great extent. And that affects the middle class disproportionately greater than those in higher income brackets. But going to the income tax, he wants to raise income taxes. And what a lot of folks don't realize is that his proposal says raising the income tax would be effective retroactively. So money you've already earned and put away in your savings account are used to pay for your rent, your mortgage, your groceries. As of January 1, 2011, he wants to tax all of that income at a higher rate. No one's having the right amount taken out of their paychecks, and that's really going to have a disproportionate impact if that ever goes into effect. Other areas, especially for our border communities, such as Enfield and Somers and Suffield, he wants to raise alcohol taxes, gasoline taxes, tobacco taxes, as well as getting rid of the exemption for clothing under $50. We depend on a lot of small businesses and retail businesses along the border. And we have a lot of folks come from Massachusetts to shop in our areas of commercial activity. By raising taxes on all of those goods, we're essentially saying Connecticut is not open for business. And you may as well go up to Holyoke or somewhere else to do your shopping. That's exactly the wrong message that we should be sending. When it comes to spending cuts, he's got some on the table, but there's not an awful lot of them. Certainly not equal with the amount of tax increases. $1.5 billion in tax increases, about $900 million in spending cuts. And the last area that I have a great concern with is trying to get $1 billion of savings from state employees over the next 2 years. That's not going to be any kind of an easy negotiation whatsoever. And in his budget address, Governor Malloy did not indicate any precise way he was going to get to that $1 billion figure. At the end of the day, if he doesn't get that $1 billion, where's he going to try to make it up? Is he going to try to make it up in spending cuts or additional tax increases? And my concern is he's going to go for additional tax increases. So I think it's a good first start for this new governor, but it has an awful long way to go. And if it was presented to me right now, I can assure each and every one of my constituents I would vote no. There's not enough spending cuts, there's too many tax increases, and a lot of the other concessions that he's trying to get from state employees are not really concrete, and we just don't know where it's going to end up. That's how I feel. It's the first week of the budget discussions, and I look forward to your input. Please give my office a call at 860-240-0531 with your input. I want to know where you stand on Governor Malloy's budget proposals. Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to serve you in our state Senate.